We play for Scarborough and we aim to win. Now we're in the football league to see how we begin. With the best support around, we all know this is true. So to all the fans we say, we did it just for you. We play for Scarborough and we aim to win. Now we're in the football league to see how we begin. Thanks to all the many folks who given us a hand, and we'll work so we will be the best team in the land. We play for Scarborough and we aim to win. Now we're in the football league to see how we begin. With the best support around, we all know this is true.
Good afternoon, I'm Dave Gibbins and welcome to Scarborough Football Club. Saturday, May the 2nd, a historic day indeed for the borough. Because after today, they will become a Football League club for the very first time in their 108-year history. And they've done it with a new manager, practically a whole new playing staff, and today they should record between 6,000 and 7,000 for their final game of the season. It's at home to Weymouth, and we'll be presenting the whole match for you. We'll be building up to the match by interviewing the fans here, and afterwards joining in the celebrations with the players and the directors as well, as they celebrate Scarborough Football Club's history-making season 1986-87, the march into the 4th Division. You wouldn't have thought so on the 16th of August, when Scarborough played their first match of the campaign at Nuneaton Borough and lost by 3-0. Indeed, on October the 25th, they were lying 10th in the GM Vauxhall Conference, 9 points behind the then leaders Maidstone United. But between October the 25th and April the 20th, they went a record 22 games without defeat and overtook Barnet on April the 29th, when Barnet lost at home to Stafford, to become not only the champions of the GM Vauxhall Conference, but the first non-league club to be automatically promoted under the new system that was introduced last summer to the 4th Division. It really was a battle with Barnet. The tussle was on practically from the off. In fact, Barnet had quite a few games in hand and looked certain to win them. But successive home defeats against Cheltenham Town and Kettering Town enabled Scarborough to overtake them, and another home defeat against Stafford Rangers last Wednesday meant Scarborough Football Club were promoted. Sit back then and enjoy the next 3 hours as we bring you the best on this May the 2nd and raise a toast to the borough. And here we are, just standing inside the athletic ground on Seymour Road in Scarborough. We're just over an hour away from the kick-off in the final game of the season. We've got some Scarborough supporters. What do you think of Scarborough's success this season then?
I think it's great. It's great for the town and everything. This 4th Division, we can go up to places like Hartlepool and Halifax and places like that.
Did you ever think it would happen?
Well, I thought so, but I was a bit, I thought they deserved the success. I mean, Neil Warnock's been a great manager.
Now then, here's a common face here at the athletic ground.
I like the way you put that. Thank you very much.
Most home matches and occasional away matches. Excuse the common, Eric, but it's Eric Madison. Eric, you must be absolutely over the moon with the success.
Chuffed. Absolutely chuffed. It's great. It must be the greatest deal I've had. Definitely.
Has it surpassed expectations?
The support has, definitely. Oh, they're great, yeah. It has. I mean, we were written off halfway through the season, weren't we? Oh, it's pretty great. Everybody in the town's delighted with it. It's pretty gala day today.
No comment from your friend as well?
No, she's quite happy.
She looks it as well. Thanks, Eric. Now then, how are Scarborough going to get on in the 4th Division next season?
Win it.
Mid-table, I will win it.
What if they stay part-time? How do you think we'll get on then?
not as well.
We'll have to keep Blackwell.
We'll stay part-time throughout the season, I reckon, and we'll go pro.
What about this season then? Memorable matches for you? What's been the most memorable match?
Biting my nails. The 2004 injury against Welling United because we thrashed them really.
What about Runcorn? That was a disappointment because you could have blown it then, couldn't you, over the Easter Monday?
We need a proper scorer because Phil Walker, he puts a few in, but he duffs a few chances up. We need a good scorer if we want to win the championship next year.
The way you've been ranting and raving about Kevin Blackwell, I take it he's your favourite player?
Yeah, he's brilliant. Yeah, brilliant. He's changed the season for us, really.
Thanks very much, lads. I hope you enjoy the game today. Oh! Are they going to win today?
Yes!
Are they going to win in the 4th Division?
Yes!
And who's going to score the goals today? So there you have it. That's what the Scarborough supporters think. Let's go across now to the souvenir stall. If we can fight our way through, let's join Val and Shirley now, busy as bees and decked very nicely in their red and white. Val, you've been involved, shall we say, on the promotions and commercial side of Scarborough Football Club this season. Do you regard this as the best ever season for the club?
Without a doubt. We've strived for this for so many years that it's unbelievable. Fantastic.
Do you rank it higher than the Wembley occasions in the 70s?
Without a doubt. Yeah.
What do you think 4th Division and Football League status means to the town?
Well, the town's buzzing. It has been all week. So, you know, I mean, look at it. You've only got to look for yourself.
Right, let's go back to 1977. That was the last time Scarborough appeared at Wembley in the FA Trophy. And really, success has deserted the club, and it's really been a barren spell between 77 and now.
That's right.
10 years. Did you ever think these scenes would return and the crowd return to the athletic ground?
Never. Never.
So, what in your opinion, Val, has done this? Who's achieved this remarkable transformation?
Barry Adamson, Neil Warnock, obviously the players, they do it on the field. And we've got a great board of directors.
How do you think the team and the club will cope in Division 4?
Very well. We've got a superb ground, we're well organised. These directors are no fools, they're all businessmen that know what they're doing. We've got good fans, they don't cause trouble. There'll be no problems.
Well, you can take over from Shirley a little while because I just want to have a word with Shirley. Shirley, like Val, you've been a cornerstone, really, of Scarborough Football Club in the commercial and promotions department. How do you feel at the moment?
Oh, over the moon. It's absolutely marvellous.
Really, it surpassed all expectations.
Everything,
and
yes.
you never expected anything like this?
No, marvellous.
When did it become reality, then, that Scarborough could clinch promotion?
Just sinking in now, actually.
Is it?
Yeah, even Wednesday night it didn't sink in. Yeah.
What were you doing on Wednesday night?
We're down here at the club, listening to it on the radio.
And then what was the atmosphere like in the Borough Social Club?
There was such a roar, you couldn't hear the commentary on the radio at all. Everybody went berserk. It was marvellous. We were all crying and kissing each other.
Welcome again to the athletic ground as Cesspod, the Scarborough club captain, leads out his players, followed by goalkeeper Kevin Blackwell, Ray McHale, the midfield player, Phil Walker. 15 goals this season. Stuart Mell, the leading goal scorer, with 17. Paul Kendall, Ian Bennyworth, Tommy Graham, Neil Thompson, Mitch Cook, Steve Richards, Andy Harrison is coming out, one of the two substitutes this afternoon, Graham Hartley and Jeff Bowman, of course, part of the furniture here at the athletic ground. And what a rapturous applause the Scarborough team are getting, undeservedly so. The champions of the GM Vauxhall Conference, therefore promoted to the 4th division, the first non-league side ever to do so automatically, may it be said. Weymouth follow them. Weymouth, who were beaten by Borough 1-0 back in November down at the recreation ground in Dorset. The cheerleaders just encircling the centre circle, the first time this season at any rate that cheerleaders have been seen here on the athletic ground. And what an atmosphere here. Well, some 6 minutes away from kick-off time. There's round about, I would imagine, 6,000 people approximately in the ground, by far the highest attendance here at Scarborough. And why not? Because this is the climax of a quite memorable season. The Scarborough have made footballing history. They'll be playing, as you can see, in their usual all-red strip. Weymouth in their usual first-team strip of white shirts with a claret and sky blue diagonal band across the chest and claret shorts. Now then, Kevin Blackwell, congratulations to the goalkeeper, signed from, ironically, Barnet earlier this season. In fact, he made a little bit of history by himself, Kevin Blackwell, because when he played for Scarborough at Weymouth back in November, it was then he signed permanent forms for the borough, and Kevin Blackwell has been nominated the Supporters Club Player of the Year for 1986-87, and Kevin Blackwell has just stood outside the Players' Tunnel receiving his award, and deservedly so as well, because Kevin Blackwell, since he's arrived at the athletic ground, has been in superlative form and has proved what a first-rate and a high-quality goalkeeper he is. An astute signing by manager Neil Warnock. Kevin Blackwell, who used to play for Barnet but was ousted by Steve Humphreys at Underhill, but then obviously made the right choice by coming to the athletic ground and appearing in that green jersey and red shorts. And Kevin Blackwell, who's a self-employed builder who lives in Luton and travels all those miles up north to Scarborough for home matches. Of course, some of the away matches not so much of a problem for Kevin, but his loyalty has been one of the reasons Scarborough have finished as champions of the GM Vauxhall Conference. Well done, Kevin Blackwell, Scarborough's new Player of the Year. There are air horns here, banners, flags. What a scene. Nothing's been seen quite like this since 1977, when Scarborough really enjoyed their last taste of success, and that was at Wembley when they beat Dagenham in the FA Trophy final. But it's been 10 long years without winning anything until Neil Warnock came to the club last summer, changed the entire playing staff, or almost. Neil Thompson and Neil Sellers, the only survivors, if you count fringe players like Graham Hartley, Kenny Dennis and Steve French as well. But it's been Neil Sellers and Neil Thompson, the first team regulars. Those are the only two that were retained by manager Neil Warnock. And in fact, Neil Sellers, the longest serving player at the club, isn't playing today. He's got a little bit of injury. Will hopefully be joined by Neil. And Mick Lester, another new acquisition who was signed on non-contract forms just before the transfer deadline, but has yet to fight his way into this Scarborough team. So well balanced. Let's have a check on the teams for you this afternoon. Scarborough, in goal, Kevin Blackwell, the new Player of the Year. The back four, Cesspod, captain. Centre-back, Steve Richards, Paul Kendall and Ian Bennyworth, and Neil Thompson, number 3. In midfield, Mitch Cook comes in for Stuart Hamill. There's Ray McHale and Tommy Graham. And up front, Phil Walker and Stuart Mell. Between them this season, they've scored 32 goals, Mell on 17, Walker on 15. The Borough substitute, Stuart Hamill and Andy Harrison. For Weymouth, in their claret and sky blue, in goal, Pat George. Len Bond has been injured. He's the usual custodian. Former Exeter City keeper. He's been out for the last 5 matches with a leg injury. The back four, Headley Steele, former Exeter City. Paul Arnold, the captain, is centre-back alongside John Carroll, and at left-back, Martin Rogers. In midfield, Peter Rogers, he's the cousin of Martin. we've got Aniello Iannone, long-serving player at the recreation ground, and Mick Doherty. And the strike force, Steve Claridge, signed for £10,000, would you believe, 2 years ago from AFC Bournemouth. We've got Peter Turrell up front and Tony Agana. Now, Tony Agana caused Scarborough all sorts of problems when they played them down there. Agana, an England semi-professional international, a highly gifted player, mercurially could term him because he's in and out, and Agana has been watched by several Football League clubs. Now, he's one man that could turn the tables, not that Scarborough, I suppose, for one moment would let them on this memorable occasion, a history-making occasion that one won't see the likes of again here at Scarborough Football Club. The two Weymouth substitutes, Nick Preston and Mick Greeno. Your referee this afternoon is Trevor West from Hull, the linesman with the red flag, Ian Grandage from Hull, and Roger Smith also from the city, 43 miles down the road. Weymouth to kick off then, kicking from left to right as we start this final game of the season, and referee West starts us underway. Remember, Scarborough attempting to do the league double, and an interesting footnote, it's 11 years since Scarborough won their last game of the season. Let's hope they can break that particular hoodoo this afternoon. But on the contrary, Weymouth have never won at Scarborough, so it should be quite interesting. Weymouth lying mid-table. They sacked their manager Brian Godfrey, some 3 weeks ago. And Stuart Bell, the reserve team coach, is in caretaker capacity at the moment. Weymouth are moving ground, incidentally, from their recreation ground. They're moving to the outskirts of the town to new premises altogether. And Weymouth must be very envious of these facilities that they can see. Really, no non-league club, except perhaps Boston United, can match these superb facilities at the athletic ground, worthy of Football League status. There's no doubt about that. And they'll be getting Football League status, the public at Scarborough, next season. Weymouth on the ball at the moment inside the Scarborough half, but it's Paul Kendall, who was a strong contender for the Mecca Merit Award scheme this season. In fact, he's got to get 10 out of 10 today, as Peaky, as is affectionately known here at the athletic ground. He's got to get 10 out of 10 to oust Tommy Graham. Tommy Graham at the moment leads 46 points, Paul Kendall 37, and if Tommy Graham in fact wins that Mecca Merit Award, there'll be a holiday abroad for Tommy and his wife, which can't be bad, can it? Indeed right, 5 all told, and Neil, who was out for a fair length of time with an injury, which we'll talk about later. But Scarborough progressing now into the Weymouth half for the very first time in this match. We've been going a couple of minutes. Mitch Cook trying to find leading goal getter Stuart Mell, who's had 2 spells with league clubs, Doncaster Rovers and Halifax Town. Perhaps now he'll get a third bite at the cherry. There is such a thing if you ask Stuart Mell. Fireman Mell, that's his occupation. He'll be ringing the bells hopefully this afternoon towards the Weymouth goal. And that's where you'll find Pat George, the Weymouth number 2, in his blue jersey and black tracksuit bottoms, replacing Len Bond, the first choice, who's injured. Disappointing season by Weymouth standards. And that's a good kick from George, deep into Scarborough territory. Trying to get the ball across, but no problem at all for Kevin Blackwell yet. I don't suppose he will have a problem. Hardly conceded any goals since he came to the club at the beginning of November, and Scarborough are very much hoping to impress their fans as they play their last, and hopefully last ever, non-league game of football. Playing safe there, the Weymouth number 3, Martin Rogers. A lot of West Countrymen, as you expect, with the geographical position of Weymouth. A lot of them used to play for Torquay United and Exeter City, as Weymouth try to plough their way through and try to outmanoeuvre the Scarborough back 5, which has been so solid this season. In fact, playing with 3 centre-backs for most of the time. Neely and Bennyworth, Steve Richards and Paul Kendall. Sometimes you played with a sweeper, but it's proved really solid, hasn't it? Impenetrable.
Yeah, I think it's been sort of like a tower of strength, especially with the 3...
Oh, and here's a chance! Oh, Neil, Stuart Mills really should have buried that from Mitch Cook's cross.
As I was saying, especially with the 3 playing in the back 4, with Peaky dropping behind Bennyworth and Richards. It's been, we've been a tower of strength, plus it's also been able to make the 2 full-backs pushing up into midfield and the midfield pushing up. Very good, yes.
And Neil Thompson scored 5 goals from his long-range runs, his foraging runs, hasn't he? Spectacular goals too.
Yeah, from Neil's amazing runs, he seemed to score a few goals, which is very good on both points of view, especially his, I would think.
We've been going, 5 minutes. It's Scarborough 0, Weymouth 0, as Ray McHale takes up the ball. Ray McHale, the most experienced of the, arguably so, the Scarborough bunch. Of course, Cess Pod, but he's been with 2 clubs and spent 14 years of his career at Bradford City. But Ray McHale's much travelled, the intrepid midfielder for Scarborough. The ball bobbling about just on the circumference of the centre circle. And referee West gives a free kick to Weymouth as the rain spits down now on this second day of May. It's blowing towards the Scarborough goal, but not a strong wind. As Steve Richards clears his area, but the ball falls to Mick Doherty, Weymouth striker on the edge of the area, trying to force it in. Doherty. Peter Rogers is going on the overlap, but to no avail. And Scarborough have a chance to build up another attack. Not very nice weather for the 6,000 odd crowd. How many do you think see you, Neil?
I would think about between 5 and 5.5.
Did you expect that?
Maybe even touching the 6, Dave. Yeah. I even thought it'd be nice to get 8th away today, with it being the last game and the lads especially winning today and winning the league, which is like history, especially when we're going straight into the 4th division. Yes.
Well, the cover, of course, is at the other side where we have the main stand, and behind us, where it's standing only, Weymouth with the throw on that far side near the corner flag, and it goes to the area. But Steve Richards, as he's so often done this season, out-jumped his opposite number, and Scarborough bring it away. Stuart Mell inside to Phil Walker, nicely chested down, such an expert at that. Neil Thompson, as we were talking about, Neil on his foraging runs, finds Mitch Cook coming well down the flank. It's a chance for Neil Thompson, unblocked by the Weymouth goalkeeper, but it falls to Stuart Mell, and Mell has put Scarborough ahead. Yes, Stuart Mell put Scarborough ahead in the 6th minute. That's his 18th goal of the season. That was a move which came from Scarborough's own half. Steve Richards won the ball, then it came through to Mell, to Walker, then to Mitch Cook. Mitch Cook made the run. Across it went, the goalkeeper fumbled it, and the chance fell to Stuart Mell, his 18th goal of the season, one he really couldn't miss, Neil Sellers.
Yes, what a great start, yes. What a nice move. Started from, I think, a ball from Neil Thompson, found Phil Walker, nice overhead kick, back to Neil Thompson, out to Mitch Cook, down the flank, early ball in, back to Neil Thompson, who sort of helped it on, and now we had Stuart Mell just to simply tap it home.
That's right. Good goal. Neil Thompson put the goalkeeper off, actually, didn't he? He had to tangle the goalkeeper with Neil Thompson, and he was in all sorts of problems, actually, and Mell just had the easy chance to tap it in.
Yes, that's right, David. Yeah, what a great start.
It is indeed 1-0 to Scarborough, and it's Fireman Mell. I told you we'll be ringing the bells this afternoon, and he's rung 1. And they're on the way to the 4th division. They can relax, because so much could have hinged on today's game if Barnet had beaten Stafford Rangers. But that's history now. They didn't, and Scarborough can now just slightly open the champagne bottles. I hope they haven't done so already, because there'll be a few hiccups on the pitch. But hopefully the celebrations will start after the match as Weymouth try to get back into it. That was really the first serious attack that Scarborough have had this afternoon, and it was a lethal move. And Stuart Mell put Scarborough ahead after 6 minutes on this history-making occasion. It's a free kick quickly taken into the area by Mitch Cook, quickly nodded on by Phil Walker, and the Weymouth defence did well to clear their lines, not getting the ball away cleanly. They defend in depth as they did even on their home territory of the recreation ground when Weymouth beat them with a Phil Walker goal, and that was a superb goal if I remember, after 18 minutes from a Neil Thompson free kick which Walker glide-headed in. It really was a high-quality goal as Mitch Cook has the ball again. Him and Thompson are really linking well as they've done so many times this season on the left flank. That one not quite paying off, but Neil Thompson worthy and I say an ideal example of a former full-time professional and now at the highest calibre in his semi-professional ranks, and of course that was recognised when he was chosen for the England semi-professional squad, of which you got 10 caps of that, Neil.
Yeah, that's right, David. Yeah, what a nice achievement for Neil after, as I say, he's only a young player as well, 22, 23, plus probably a bad point because now we're in the 4th division. Neil probably only make it this year only as a non-league international.
A lot of loose play at the moment. No pattern really emerging, is there, Neil? It's a bit scrappy at the moment.
Yeah, I don't think there's any pattern yet there, Dave. I think both sides trying to feel the way. But, you know, with a lot of rain coming down, slippery surfaces, but Scarborough being on top with a nice early goal. Scarborough doing all the attacking. I think in midfield, you know, just trying to find the balance in midfield. But yeah, I think Scarborough's manager's quite happy with the result at the moment.
I'm sure he is. I'm sure you are as well. First corner of the game then. Mitch Cook takes it. Ooh, and that could have caused problems. That was a tricky one, a teaser, which came off John Carroll for the second corner of the match to Scarborough. Mitch Cook, the usual corner taker. Stuart Mell then after 6 minutes giving Borough that 1-0 lead in this final game of the season, as Cook again takes the in-swinger, and George, I thought he would have caught that, but he opted to punch out, not a very clean punch, but it was good enough for Weymouth to bring it away into the Scarborough half with Peter Terrell, who's come in to replace Tom Jones, the transferred striker to Aberdeen. Tommy Graham losing out in that tackle, must have been the first one he has lost out on this season. He looks rather overweight, actually, this Aniello Iannone. He's got a little bit of a tummy on him, to put it mildly. I mean, I don't want to go into him too much, but he looked overweight and unfit down there, didn't you think so, Neil? Because you know him, you've been around, haven't you, long enough?
Yeah, I've known the lad a few years. He's always been a big lad, and he always carries a little bit of weight, but I don't really think it... He's maybe slowed down a little bit, but I don't think it affects his game. For what effort he puts into it, he's a good competitor.
Yes, a good competitor he will be, overweight or not, as Phil Walker tries to kill the ball, fails to do so, and Weymouth trying to build on the fringe of the Scarborough penalty area. Stuart Mell cuts it out to Cesspod. But it's Weymouth again with the ball. A chance of Borough coming up now as they G their lads on to another goal, but this could be a promising move. Headley Steele on the Weymouth right, and it goes to the area, and not quite getting right behind the ball. Peter Rogers coming from deep to the edge of the area, and I suppose if he'd latched onto that he would have tested Blackwell, but who's to say Blackwell wouldn't prove equal to it. In fact, Neil, I should think this is the fullest you've seen a football ground here at Scarborough, isn't it?
Yes, that's right, Dave. Yeah, since I've been here, this is the biggest crowd I've seen. Yes, and it should be like this every week. So credit to the football club and to the town of Scarborough. Excellent.
So Neil Sellers, obviously this must be the pinnacle of his career so far, at any rate. Neil Thompson just tidying that bit of misunderstanding at the back, tidying what could have been a potential dangerous situation for Scarborough. But Neil Thompson did well to get it away. Scarborough get the free kick, and it's Mitch Cook. Ray McHale, Phil Walker to Tommy Graham. Back to Phil Walker. Is he going to try a shot? Tries to get one on his left foot. Does try to get one on his left foot. Was that handball? Accidental, surely. The referee did allow play to go on. Stuart Mill's just explaining to the referee what happened. And it's a Weymouth ball, 18 minutes gone. So Scarborough getting that lead that they wanted so badly behind the goal. There are banners, there's bunting everywhere. What a joyful occasion this is. It must be very strange out there how the Weymouth players are feeling when they come here knowing that they're facing the champions and the team that are promoted to the 4th division. But they've got to go out and prove that they can beat the champions and the promotion team. In fact, Iannone's been at Weymouth 11 years, so he's the longest serving player at the recreation ground, and that's a credit to him. In comes the free kick, but the ball goes over the Scarborough back 5, and the danger escapes. We've been going that, some 20 minutes now. 1-0 indeed to Scarborough Football Club. They'll get plenty of vocal backing, but all the pressure has been taken off. I think you can feel this, Neil, can't you? The pressure has been taken off. Could you imagine what it would have been like if Barnet had to win today and Scarborough had to get a point?
Yes, that's right, Dave. Yeah, I don't think the players feel or they're playing at this pressure, and I think, you know, they're just settling down and, you know, relaxing and just trying to play the normal game. You know, and knowing that win, draw, loss, we're still there.
Here's Mel with a chance for Phil Walker. That was a good cross by Cesspod in the corner flag position. He got a good cross in up the goal line there, and Stuart Mel couldn't turn it in. Phil Walker tried to. Cesspod again. We've been talking about Neil Thompson, Neil, but Cesspod on that right hand side, he's good at overlaps. He knows where the goal is. He goes on good direct runs and plays the early ball in as well.
Yes, credit to everybody, and especially to younger players coming up. You know, what a credit. You know, professional for so many years and adapting to moving down a league or so to non-league. Yes, really played well. Always gives 110%. An excellent credit, and a very, very good player and a very fit player.
I'm glad he said that, Neil, very fit player, because Cez is no spring chicken, shall we say, but I'll tell you something, he plays as though he's a 21-year-old, and he's still got the enthusiasm, sometimes overzealous. He's an overzealous competitor for non-league football, but so what? That enthusiasm and verve has got Scarborough just where they wanted to be, the #1 spot in the GM Vauxhall Conference, and Cesspod was the captain that led them there as well. Thompson. Tommy Graham back in field to Ray McHale, right-footed across to Cesspod. Nice build-up, this probably the best of the match so far, barring the goal of course. Ian Bennyworth, right-footed onto the edge of the area. Tommy Graham sandwiched by two Weymouth players, one of whom is Mick Doherty, helping his defence out now. He's the engineer in the Weymouth midfield. A good cross by Mitch Cook, testing again. Pat George, he must say, looks a little bit suspect on crosses, Pat George, and has to concede the third corner of the game, which Mr. Corner Taker himself will take, Mitch Cook. That's the third corner of this match. We've been going 23 minutes, and see what Scarborough can carve out from this corner, kicking towards the end of the ground. That's where most of the banners are, all the red and whites there to be seen for Scarborough Football Club, as Cook takes the corner, and it goes another good one, testing George, and again he's in trouble, isn't he? And yet another one. In fact, it's the first one from the left hand side, so that makes it 4. And Mitch Cook, who's taken the first 3 corners. He isn't going to take this one though, as it comes in, a short one in actual fact. Phil Walker plays it back, wanting the ball from Stuart Mel, who took that 4th corner, but losing out. Mel and Walker as Weymouth through Mick Doherty. I keep mentioning Mick Doherty, but he seems to be at the centre of everything. But at the moment, trying to get this Weymouth machine going, but I'm afraid this Weymouth machine has rusted in the rain, and it looks as though it needs a few gallons of oil to get it going again, Neil. I don't think Scarborough will have any trouble this afternoon in disposing of Weymouth.
Yeah.
Tony Garner, who's another of that trio that was selected for the England semi-pro squad, did offload the ball there to Peter Rogers, but out-tackled by Ray McHale, a foul on that far touchline. Tommy Graham and ceremoniously bundled to the ground right in front of Neil Warnock, who's standing, as he's done so many times, remonstrating, if not with the referee, with his players. But of course those warnings haven't gone unheeded. The players have taken every little bit of notice what he said, well, nearly every time I suppose, and it's paid off for them in the end. And actually Pat George does make a positive save there, perhaps for the first time in this match, the Weymouth second string. Paul Kendall picks it up. Neil Thompson again trying to get forward, beaten by Headley Steele, who himself has proved quite adept at coming up, supporting his forwards and scoring goals this season. The former Exeter City man, Iannone puts it in, but Cesspod's there, just guards it back to Kevin Blackwell, the new Scarborough Player of the Year, 1986-87, 27 minutes gone. Scarborough 1, Weymouth 0. Stuart Mel after 6 minutes, pushing the back of Phil Walker by John Carroll. Tall centre-back, around about 6'4", John Carroll. But there's another tall centre-back going in the melee now, Steve Richards. 1 goal this season. That came against Welling United at home when Scarborough had to win. That they did by 2-0. Richards scoring one of them, the other was an own goal. But that free kick taken by Ian Bennyworth, not coming to anything. And Pat George has the area all to himself as the rain still not pours down but trickles down. A very dull overcast day at the North Yorkshire Seaside Resort, where history is in the making here. In fact, we've created history, haven't we, by Scarborough going into the 4th Division, playing their last and hopefully last ever non-league game. 108 years of non-league football finally finishing with promotion to the 4th Division. A free kick to Scarborough then. Desperately needs something. An attractive move, another goal, an incident to set the crowd alight. But let it not be said that the crowd have had their enthusiasm dampened this afternoon. The rain hasn't put them off as Stuart Mell takes a tumble and inadvertently runs into Martin Rogers and bangs him right on the shin. I think that was a pure accident, as referee West calls on the trainer, Neil. You saw that, obviously. It was a pure accident, I thought.
Yeah, that's right, Dave. Yeah, I don't think there was any malice there. Just one of them things. Bit of keenness, I think.
As Weymouth try to form something, but they haven't really troubled Kevin Blackwell in this Scarborough goal, except for Neil Thompson just tidying up a little bit of a misunderstanding. Nothing too serious as Phil Walker again is clobbered from behind, but the referee has allowed play on. Trevor West of Hull is allowed play on. Mitch Cook with the ball now on the left-hand side. Across it goes to the far post. Mel's there, and no! It was nearly there from Tommy Graham. Mel went up with Tommy Graham, and that was a save at the foot of the post by Pat George. Tommy Graham did awfully well to get up there. I mean, Tommy will be the first to admit he must have been on a trampoline. He doesn't score many goals by leaping up to crosses. He usually clatters them in with his left or right foot, but that was a very good header indeed, and brought an equally fine save from Pat George. In comes the corner. Steve Richards up there, flicks it back. Tommy Graham again, and that was blocked on the line by the Weymouth fullback Headley Steele, and Pat George recovers well to save on the line. And that was a good knockback by Rico, as his nickname is, at the athletic ground. And that could have been number 2. And in fact, it could have been Tommy Graham again, with his thigh heavily strapped. What's the matter with Tommy, Neil? Do you know? Has he just got a twinge up there?
I think he's, I believe he's got a slight pull on his hamstring as well. Nothing too serious, I don't think. But, you know, knowing Tommy, he'll give everything he's got. Very good player. A lot of commitment. And he was unlucky then with a couple of good headers. Yes, he's a very good worker, Tommy. A very good player.
Not very often you see Tommy score with his head, though, is it?
No, but any goal that goes in is nice, especially with your head.
All goals are good ones, Neil.
That's right, Dave. Yeah.
So a free kick to Weymouth. Steve Richards being pulled up for a collision, and Paul Arnold, the Weymouth skipper, to take this. Obviously must be feeling that the Terrors, that's the Weymouth nickname, are still in with a chance of getting something from this almost impossible task against the champions. The new champions are Ghana trying a shot there. Out it goes from Headley Steele. But Weymouth, a long journey up, must have stayed overnight. Would be suicidal to come up in a day all the way from Dorset. Scarborough stayed down there. It paid dividends for them. I'm not saying it'll pay dividends for Weymouth today, but all that way must have rested them overnight. As Stuart Mell tried to get the ball away down the sideline there, but just went out of play. Hard luck, Stuart Mell. 34 minutes gone. Borough 1, Weymouth 0. Stuart Mell after 6 minutes. It could have been 2 there when Tommy Graham put in a couple of headers. One was stopped on the line, and Pat George saved it. So we go into the Scarborough half now, and it's the turn of Weymouth's Headley Steele to take a short throw in to Mick Doherty, shielding the ball well, goes into his own half and plays it inside to John Carroll. Out it goes to Martin Rogers on that far touchline, just in front of the dugout, as Weymouth build now on the Scarborough right. It's Peter Rogers, the right-hand side midfielder for Weymouth. getting Weymouth's first corner of this 42nd league match of the season. 10 minutes to go before the break. Borough leading by a goal to nil, and it's Mick Doherty who seems to do everything. I think he's got everything but the kitchen sink out there. Dictates midfield, and now the corner taker. It's going to be an in-swinger with his left foot, and it goes on a good save. In fact, a very good save. That was a good header by Ian Oney. He met Doherty's corner full-blooded, and Kevin Blackwell saved well on the line. A good save. That's why you know now why Blackwell has been chosen as the Scarborough Player of the Year. Now the move developing on the Scarborough left, breaking down between Cook and Stuart Mell, and Weymouth with Ian Oney. 11 years at the recreation ground, dummied by Mick Doherty, but not following up by Peter Rogers, not understanding the play there. As the throw-in on that far side. Scarborough, I think, would be quite satisfied with another goal. I think they're a little bit unlucky not to get that second goal. Tommy Graham, but this could be it now. This could be it now for the Phil Walker. Left foot, 2-0. No, it isn't. I thought it was going in that, and that should have been a goal, but Phil Walker just offloaded and cannoned in a shot with his left foot, which came off the goalkeeper. He saved that, must have tripped it round the post, and that really was well, I think it deserved a goal, didn't you, Neil?
Yes, Walker pounces onto a back pass, turns a defender, nice left peg into bottom corner, goalkeeper saving one hand, very good.
This could be the second 1-0 as we watch the ball come out to Ray McHale. He's going to crack one now. The situation too tight. Bennyworth puts Cesspod away down the Scarborough right. Tommy Graham, left-hand side of midfield, and it goes to midfield. Ian Bennyworth, nice dummy there. Yes, right with his right foot behind his left foot, and out to Neil Thompson. That's two bites of the cherry, two cracks. Neil Thompson trying to set this crowd alight with a Thompson extravaganza there. We've seen a lot of explosive shots from Tomo, his nickname at the club. He's trying a third one, and this one could go in, but it doesn't. It just goes wide. He'd love to end the season, I'm sure, with some fireworks, the pyrotechnics coming in, and there he is. The play actor Neil Thompson just bowing in the Spanish bullfighter style on the halfway line to the best stand there, probably to the directors and to the crowd in the best stand. Perhaps. And he's doing it again. Concentrate on the game, Neil Thompson. The season isn't over yet. Stuart Mell is being held. Surely the referee saw that, and he did. Trevor West from Hull. In fact, all the officials are from Hull this afternoon, so the whole connection remains with Neil Sellers, Steve Richards, Ian Bennyworth, Neil Thompson, all coming from that city. Now we've got the three officials as well. So a free kick, some 25 yards out. Ray McHale over the ball with Neil Thompson. Is it going to be a planned move, set piece? I think it'd have to be, as Mitch Cook shows himself in the wall. Over the wall it goes. Steve Richards, goal! Steve Richards, it was a set piece move, and Steve Richards in 38 minutes scores that second goal of the season for him, the second goal of the match for Scarborough, and I think that really does begin to polish the championship trophy for the Borough. The foul on Stuart Mell, the referees saw it. I thought he was going to allow play on. He wasn't, quite rightly so. Ray McHale with the chip over the defensive wall. Steve Richards coming from deep, and there he was, faced with an open goal, and he did well to bury it, didn't he, Neil?
Yeah, well, a nice goal. A nice diving header. Excellent. Well taken. That'll boost Steve's confidence up very much. 2-0. Going into half-time, very nice, very good. Let's hope we can make it 3 or 4, Dave.
I think we can, Neil, now. As I was just saying, they needed that cushion, they needed that little spring to go into half-time with. They've got that spring, and now that spring could lead to 3 or 4 goals. The avalanche could start in the second half, as Weymouth try to get back into it now. Steve Claridge, former AFC Bournemouth, £10,000 buy for Weymouth, but Thompson heads it clear. There's going to be a crack with the right foot there from left-back Martin Rogers, but it goes wide of Blackwell's left-hand post. No danger for the Scarborough custodians, so it's 2-0. That fine set move, 25 yards out, a free kick, and Steve Richards did well to read it. It was a goal all the way. You could see it. It caused all sorts of problems in that Weymouth defence. They didn't know which way to turn. They turned the wrong way, and Steve Richards was there with an open goal. and my goodness me, didn't he bury it well. 2-0 then to Borough as we approach the last 5 minutes of the first half. Stuart Mell this time, did he get the benefit of the doubt? He did indeed. From referee Trevor West of Hull, and a free kick just on that arc of the penalty area on the Scarborough left, and Mitch Cook to take it, looking again, another set move. Watch for Steve Richards, it's going to the far post. George is left wanting again as Phil Walker came in, but Scarborough now with the main striker Peter Turrell back to help his overworked defence, but Weymouth can't string anything together as the rain speeds up and comes down and saturates the athletic ground. Players soaking wet through, and they can go in at half-time. I don't know what sort of tactical talk they'll get from Neil Warnock and assistant Paul Evans, but I don't think they can be left too disappointed, to be honest with you, the management team. 2-0, you can't ask for more than that, and especially after a nerve-tingling week, which has taken, I should think, quite a lot out of the Scarborough staff here, and this could be interesting. As again, Thompson goes in, wins that ball cleanly. A good professional tackle there from Neil Thompson, as Ray McHale picks it up to Mitch Cook again. So much building on this Scarborough left with Mitch Cook and Neil Thompson, and again Mel is being brought in as Thompson is allowed to go so far and then drops back, which allows another man to help Mitch Cook, and that's Stuart Mell. And then while those two are doing their bit on the left-hand side, you'll see Tommy Graham and Phil Walker move ominously into the area, moving in for the kill. Well, Phil Walker hasn't done it yet. Tommy Graham's been unlucky on a couple of occasions with headers. Perhaps Phil and Tommy will find the score, the net and the scoring sheet in the second half. We'll have to wait and see, as Weymouth bringing it away with Iannone. Aniello Iannone, as the rain leaks from the roof above us, in actual fact, and leaking on our television and monitor screens. I hope it doesn't cause too many problems. We've got some worried engineers around us, but we'll be here as long as they're there. That's one thing. On broadcasting, that's our motto this afternoon, and why not as we approach half-time. Referee West blows for a foul in the centre circle on Phil Walker. So Scarborough 2 goals to the good, on their way to another 3 points, and the 90-point mark. They'll reach 91 points. And whatever Barnet do against Dagenham, purely academic, because the title and promotion is the Reds. Paul Kendall with the free kick. Steve Richards on the edge of the area, out jumps Turrell. It falls to Tommy Graham, and over the bar. Tommy Graham looking for his 4th goal of the season. That one on his left foot, over the bar from a good position. Tommy Graham scored so many goals for Scunthorpe United, his previous club before joining Scarborough. Many goals for Halifax Town and Barnsley with his left foot, as referee West looks at his watch and blows for half-time. Scarborough in the lead by 2 goals to 0. Saturated first half, but Scarborough well in command. Weymouth forcing a good save from Kevin Blackwell. That was a header from Iannone. Neil Thompson just had to tidy up a little bit of misunderstanding at the back there. Kevin Blackwell could have been caught out, but Thompson was there covering his goalkeeper. Weymouth haven't posed any threats really, and Scarborough full value for their 2-0 lead at half-time, Neil Sellers.
Yeah, 2-0. I think that's a good lead to go into the half with, Dave. Yeah, I think I'd be quite pleased. I mean, it's not really a nail-biting game, but I mean, the homework's done it. I mean, we've won the league.
So Scarborough 2 goals to 0 ahead against Weymouth, and the rain teems down in this second half, making conditions almost impossible. Of course, players finding it very hard, extremely difficult to keep the footing, as Ian Bennyworth goes down on the Scarborough right. Crosses, danger in the Weymouth goal mouth, and Weymouth have to clear their lines deep in their own territory as Scarborough press for the 3rd goal, trying to put on a champagne show. In fact, that ball went over the bar from a Scarborough player, so a goal kick. There's been an offside given as well at the same time, so it's a free kick going to be taken by Pat George in the Weymouth penalty area. Scarborough, remember, leading through those Stuart Mell and Steve Richards goals. As I was saying about the champagne football that Neil Warnock and assistant Paul Evans were hoping Borough would put on, well, it's going to be increasingly difficult in this second half as the rain comes down in heavy bursts. Tony Agana for Weymouth. Let's hope we see a lot more of him in the second half, because I'll tell you something, when he's on the ball he can be a sheer delight to watch. Ian Bennyworth, well, he's going to get the better of Bennyworth. He's gone to the goal line now. Which way is he going to go? Tries to go on Bennyworth's outside. Bennyworth concedes a corner as Weymouth come back into it. Must give credit to both sides because conditions are difficult, and as you can see, the crowd have shuttled themselves under cover. Not many people left out in the open, and those few that are in the open, well, they must be the diehards getting soaked through to the skin as the Weymouth corner comes across to the back post, and that's a header by Peter Turrell, and Mick Doherty were up there as well. Paul Kendall gets it away hurriedly. Mitch Cook, is it going to be an up and under? Yes, it is, for the second time. Now then, Weymouth have got Scarborough on the rack for perhaps the first time in the match. A short throw in there, taken by Mick Doherty. Gets the ball back, goes on the inside. Oh, and what a goal that is by Mick Doherty. What a goal. Scarborough should have cleared that on 2 occasions by Kendall and Cook, but Kevin Blackwell caught just slightly from his line. And Mick Doherty, well, Neil Sellers and I were talking about this man in the first half. Undoubtedly Weymouth's star player, and there, sheer piece of magic. He caught Blackwell off his line, and from a full 20 yards out, the ball just curled around Blackwell and into that top corner. So Weymouth are back into it 7 minutes into the second half. Mick Doherty, the Weymouth kingpin in midfield, has pulled one back for the Clarets, and then Weymouth come away again with Aniello Iannone. Mick Doherty, a fine goal there, but bad defensive play. I'm sure Neil Warnock and Paul Evans will voice their own opinions from that dugout. I'm surprised you can't hear them, because I'll tell you something, if you are behind the dugout, you really do need earmuffs. Phil Walker to Cesspod, a pinpoint cross. Stuart Mel's up there, ooh, and that's good goalkeeping. Pat George comes out, narrows the angle well at that far post, and Pat George certainly making up for a little bit of hesitation and defence and goalkeeping errors in the first half. It's Scarborough 2, Weymouth 1, and Scarborough getting a corner. Thanks to that fine save by Pat George. That was a good, accurate cross by Cesspod. So good at getting in crosses, Cesspod. He's been doing it, for some 16 years of his professional football career. The corner comes in, and it's a good one as well. But the two centre-backs, Paul Arnold, the Weymouth captain, and John Carroll, get it away. But again, that cross comes in. Pat George will insist on punching. That was a good, clean punch this time, which enables his teammates to bring it away. Ray McHale is like a little ferret there, just below us.
What a lovely goal. But you know, it's probably opened the game up a little bit. They're coming out a little bit. Weymouth, but Scarborough on the attack now. Let's hope we can punish them with another goal. Well, Phil Walker nearly did it. In fact, that was a back-breaking effort. He went and leapt, I should think, about 8 feet in the air, trying to break the high jump world record, and nearly put it over the goalkeeper's head, Pat George. Hard luck on Phil Walker. But going back to the Weymouth goal, Neil, really, it was sloppy defensive work in the first place, because Scarborough had 2 or 3 attempts to bring it away sensibly, and without thinking, they hastily just booted the ball anywhere. And the third attempt, I think, Doherty picked it up on the left-hand side, saw Blackwell slightly off his line, and killed it over his head. That's right, Dave. I think the start of the goal was a Garner who was teasing the defence. I think he finally got his ball over to the centre where Mitch Cook just put his foot there. Instead of clearing it to the halfway line, it probably spun off his leg and went out to just near the corner flag. Anyway, as you say, you know, they've got a good goal, and it's probably brought Weymouth a bit back into the game, because, you know, they've got nothing to fear. If they keep coming forward, it'll probably make the game a bit better.
2-1 to Scarborough. Let's hope they can capitalise on that. It certainly was a good goal, as Neil Thompson on that far touchline. That's the Scarborough left in this second half, as Scarborough kick from left to right. Ray McHale to Neil Thompson. Thompson just toying, and in fact has forced Headley Steel into submission. Scarborough with the ball in the penalty area. Across it comes, trying to find Tommy Graham, but no. Weymouth in that mud bath of a penalty area get the ball away. Oh, a nice move between Walker and Cook. Cook, a good cross in. Oh, and Cesspod's in there trying to get his first league goal. He's ever scored one league goal in his career for Bradford City, says, but 4 overall. But he was telling me before the game, just 1 league goal. He's got 1 this season for Scarborough. That was in the GMAC Cup against Hyde United. Iannone slipping as he passes the ball to Turrell in the centre circle now. Mick Doherty, the goal scorer, in the 52nd minute, pulling the goal back for Weymouth. 2-1 it remains though in favour of the Reds. This is nice play indeed by Steve Claridge. Tries to go around the outside of the Borough defence and gets a corner in actual fact. Steve Claridge gets a corner and Tony Agana. We haven't seen much of Agana. He's been playing a little bit deep actually. He's had to go looking for the ball instead of the ball coming to him. That was a nice back heel, wasn't it? And it goes as well. Ooh, and that's at the far post. Iannone claims he was pushed by Bennyworth, the referees not having anything of that. And it goes Scarborough's way. Going out of play and it's the throw-in. Neil Thompson. Really, players can't show a lot of the skills in these conditions. It's just basically just fulfilling the fixture and just getting through it the best you can, isn't it, really?
Yeah, these conditions you've got to battle. I mean, everybody wants to win, but I think those that want to win more are the battlers. You know, you've just got to put it all in there. As you said, it's not for skillful players, really. You know, it's for battlers and people who are very dedicated.
Oh, and that was Tony Agana. Let's not tempt fate here because let's not tempt Providence because Steve Richards went in on Tony Agana as Agana perhaps for the very first time this afternoon showed his promise and what a class player he is by going through, and he gets the free kick just on the edge of the penalty area. But it shows also what a good sailor Agana is because you know, in his speedboat there he certainly navigated the North Sea just outside the penalty area there. It really is like a river out there, isn't it? River Humber, Neil.
That's right, Dave. Yeah, I mean, things don't seem to be getting any better.
They don't. You're right there.
As you say, there's a free kick edge of Scarborough's box. We'll have to see what happens now, Dave.
Mick Doherty again with that left foot of his. In fact, it was his right foot that he scored the goal with 7 minutes into this half, but Kevin Blackwell was aware this time to his left and cleanly collects that Mick Doherty effort. Incidentally, we're getting a substitution. Phil Walker is coming off to be replaced. And a very warm applause for Phil Walker. A diligent grafter and a big man, hard to shake off the ball. And he's coming off. 15 goals for Phil Walker. He won't get any more this season, but his goals have contributed to Borough's success. Andy Harrison, utility player, a good man to have in your ranks, comes on. He can play up front as he has done this season. He can play usually in midfield or at the back. As I say, a utility man if ever there was one. Andy Harrison.
Things, Dave, in these conditions is to play the easy ball, nothing too daft, you know. No 45-yard ballers or anything. You know, it's got to be strong passes and, you know, easy balls as well. You know, you've got to let the ball do the work.
Otherwise, the conditions will do the work instead. And it's Tommy Graham cutting in. He's determined to get a goal, isn't he, Tommy Graham? And that was a good save to his right by Pat George. To his right post there, Tommy Graham. He's had 2 efforts with his head. He drove on over the bar in the first half and covered all the way by Pat George. But Tommy Graham is determined to get his 4th goal of the season as Cesspod brings it away to Ian Bennyworth. And Bennyworth, signed from Nuneaton Borough 2 years ago, in fact had the dismay to finish runners-up in Nuneaton Borough's colours. Indeed. Scarborough nearly getting their 3rd goal, and that could have put the issue beyond doubt. Still plenty of time to get that 3rd goal though. We've got 18 minutes left to play. As the corner comes in to the near post, cleared. Ray McHale just brings it down on his thigh. Cesspod again. The ball coming in. Steve Richards up there. But Iannone away to Martin Rogers. Iannone again. Peter Turrell.
That's right. I think these are probably the worst conditions, Dave. You know, for the last, 45 minutes. The rain has just come down heavily. You know, I can't see there's any the rain giving up or anything. No. It's just, it's just the last 15-20 minutes of battling, and the strongest will pull through.
And fortunately, Scarborough haven't played in any ice or snow, really. I can't remember during the winter, have they? Although it was a severe winter, Scarborough were lucky as far as conditions were concerned, because they hardly had it. In fact, Stuart Mill was just about to pounce and strike, but the ball ran away from him, and Weymouth breathe again. But while other clubs were having games postponed, Neil Sellers, that Scarborough really were lucky and didn't have any postponed.
That's right, David. I mean, we didn't have a heavy backlog of fixtures or anything. We were pretty lucky with the weather. I think there was probably the odd one or two that was cancelled, and we got them fixing over like a Saturday and Monday during a long weekend away.
Oh, after Stuart Mill just looked up to the sky and looked a little bit disgusted with himself. He was a little bit unlucky. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt, shall we? Didn't ring any bells that time. But Mell's fire engine and his fire brigade storm forward in search of that third goal, which would put the game beyond Weymouth and give Scarborough a fitting end to their best ever season. Yes, even better than the 1970s, when they reached Wembley 4 times and won the trophy 3 times. Mitch Cook with the free kick just on the edge of the box, and it goes. Stuart Mill's up there, but beaten to the ball. Falls to Andy Harrison, leaves it to Ray McHale, but Ray McHale beaten by Ian Oney, who sent sprawling by Andy Harrison. The referee West allows play to go on. Tony Agana faced by Sespod, cuts inside Pod, and Pod gets round him nicely with a clean cut tackle. Sespod, a professional of the highest order, bringing that ball away, and you can see why Sespod captained Bradford City for so long, and indeed was involved in their promotion from League Division 4. For 14 years at Valley Parade, joined Halifax Town for 2 years before he joined Scarborough last summer. There's Tommy Graham again. He really grits his teeth. He's going to let fly with his right foot. No, tries to get it on his left. Back it goes to Andy Harrison. That's Andy Harrison's effort. Flying wide. And yet another move breaks down. I'd like Tommy Graham to get a goal this afternoon. He deserves one. His support play's been good. He spots the opening, and instead of let flying, he's been letting fly with the ball from all sorts of angles and lengths, hasn't he, Neil? So I think he deserves a goal. On 7 minutes to go. Good kick from Blackwell. Oh, and that's a mistake by Weymouth, which nearly put Tommy Graham in, and he turns quickly, but that was good goalkeeping by Pop George and dreadful defensive play. Weymouth make their second and final substitution within 2 minutes of their first, and this time it's Mick Greeno coming on for Martin Rogers, who's struggling under these conditions. He nearly let Tommy Graham in for Borough's third goal. Mick Greeno now comes on to replace Martin Rogers. But Tony Agana tries to outplay Sespod and fails for the second time to do so. Twice Sespod's got the better of Agana. Tommy Graham to Stuart Hamill. Stuart Hamill goes on the outside of Peter Rogers well. This is what we were talking about earlier, that Hamill, once he gets the ball wide, can be quite devastating. He's back with Weymouth. Too many men at the back, Steve Richards and Sespod to worry Kevin Blackwell, because they well shielded Tony Agana. Oh, that's another good kick from Blackwell. Mel's in, but again the conditions beat him. Some might say the ball beat him, but I'm putting it down to the conditions. Neil Thompson disgusted with his attempt to get the ball across. So we're running out of time now, and Weymouth will be making the long trek down south. It seems pointless, Neil, as so many teams have done this season, and it looks you can join in the celebrations and enjoy yourself from what, 20 to 5 onwards. As Weymouth trying to salvage something from this game with a throw in by Peter Rogers to Tony Agana. Taking on Pod. Can he beat him for the first time? Well, he's laid it back to Rogers. Oh, and that was nearly touched in for an equaliser. It's a corner, a last-minute corner for Weymouth, and substitute Nick Preston nearly touched that cross in from Peter Rogers. He nearly tucked it past Kevin Blackwell. That would have been a shock equaliser, as it's a short corner. Tony Agana, Ray McHale. Tenacity of Ray McHale has also been a large contribution to Scarborough's success this season. Steve Claridge, faced by Pod. Which way is he going to go? Pod shepherding him all the way. And it goes to Doherty. Doherty slips. But still Weymouth have the ball. Agana taking advantage. Back to Doherty, and Doherty slips for a second time. And Kevin Blackwell, as Nick Preston came to meet that ball, took it well. As all good engineers will tell you, no need to panic. We'll get the show on the road, and that we have done. As Neil Thompson tries a bit of trickery on the goal line. And Scarborough going for that third goal, and it's Tommy Graham again. It's a 10 from Stuart Mell, and it's blocked on the line from John Carroll, trying to turn the ball in. Tommy Graham again, but still can't. Yet another attempt, innumerable attempts by Tommy Graham to get that ball into the net. He still can't do it, Neil Sellers. Oh, I thought that was the final whistle. Watch now, signalling to his two officials. Yes, and there it is. His left arm goes aloft. The end of the match, and Scarborough have beaten Weymouth. They go on to 91 points. But the main thing is that the championship and promotion had already been assured. Scarborough finish their careers as a non-league football club. That is the final game of non-league football you will see here at the athletic ground. The fans and all the management team and everybody concerned at the club will be saying, hopefully, you never know, strange things happen in football, but next season it's Football League soccer that comes to the athletic ground, and my goodness me, that is a different kettle of fish. Neil, I'll let you go now. Thanks very much for your comments this afternoon. I didn't want to leave you out. You are the longest serving member of the club, and many congratulations, and thanks for joining us, Neil.
Been a pleasure, Dave. All the best.
You thoroughly deserved it. Go and enjoy yourself now, and save a bottle of champagne for me.
You bet. I'll drink the lot.
And why shouldn't he as well? 2 goals to 1, and let's go to the presentations.
chosen by the players themselves. And Mike Sims of the St Nicholas Hotel will sponsor this trophy. We'll invite him to, here he comes, Mike, will you come up, to present the trophy sponsored by the...
To wave on, wherever bands are ring.
Now then, I'm going to zoom in and zoom out a bit. Right, what's that mean? Right, that's cut the sign out and just got you two.
That's the easy thing we've done now, winning the league. Now for the hard work.
The only thing for me is that we are naive and the thing.
Right, now I'm coming up there now.
After the celebrations then in the stand and in the dressing room, we've got Mitch Cook, great favourite here at Scarborough, Scarboroughian Mitch. How do you feel at the moment?
Well, Dave, this is the greatest day in my life, and we are all, as the old football saying is, over the moon. You know, this is the greatest day in all of our lives. We've got 13 players here, and they're the best set of lads I've been with. We've got a good manager. I won't say great because he might be a bit big-headed, but we've got a good manager, and it's great.
15 goals, including 6 penalties. What do you regard as your best goal? And don't say a penalty.
No, my best goal was Sutton last week, which it was one of the. I think it got on the best goal I've ever scored.
Really?
Yeah, great goal. I made a good tackle, which the manager says I can't tackle, so I made a good tackle. And I played a 1-2 with Melly. Went the full length of pitch, megged the bloke, and then knocked it in, and it got on one of my best goals.
Well done, Mitch. Congratulations.
Thanks very much, Dave.
Over to Phil Walker. 15 goals this season, Phil. Of course, he used to be with Chesterfield and Rotherham. How do you rate this experience alongside Chesterfield and Rotherham?
Tremendous, absolutely fantastic. Especially being part of it, rather than when days at Chesterfield when I didn't play all that many games. Played all but one game. Absolutely fantastic, tremendous. Really pleased for everybody at the club.
When you signed for Scarborough, did you expect anything like this?
I did, yeah. Otherwise, I wouldn't to sign.
Confident then, obviously.
That's it, yeah. Great side, great bunch of lads. Best side in the league by far. Just a matter of time.
You're back in the league anyway.
Back in the league, yeah. Here we go. Back in the league. Back in the league again, Dave. I don't know. It's an open part of it, but we'll just have to wait and see till the manager makes his decisions.
Ian Bennyworth, 2 years ago, bitter disappointment when you just missed out as a member of the Nuneaton Borough side. How do you feel now?
Absolutely ecstatic. It's just the icing on the cake for us. It's been a hard year. Everybody's come through and proved that the manager has made good decisions on a lot of players, and we've proved that we're a very professional outfit, and everybody's done the job that they've been given. It's just fantastic.
When you joined the club, I mean, I asked Phil Walker this question, but did you expect such success like this?
I was very confident because when I came to the club, the manager had set his stall out that we were going to be a successful side, and the players that he'd got together, I was extremely confident, yeah.
So, in fact, Steve Richards will be turning to Steve in a moment because he's giving you some abuse, Ian. Do all the lads give you abuse on the field?
To listen to us off the field, really we give each other so much stick, but once we get out there we're just one side and we're all friends and we get on fantastic.
Right, so.
Now then, Cesspod captain and Steve Richards. Steve, second goal of the season this afternoon. You were telling me before the game I'll get a second one for you.
Yeah,
you did.
Very pleased about it actually. You know, 2 goals. I was trying to beat Benny's 4, but I think 3 goals was a bit much today. But I was pleased with the 1 and pleased we won today.
What do you say about the manager?
Just to cap the season off.
Steve, in your opinion, what's the main reason why Scarborough have achieved promotion in the Championship this season?
Cess pointed itself there, but I think it's just all down to hard work and commitment of the lads really. You know, we've got a good team spirit. I think whatever club's got a good team spirit is halfway to having a successful side. And plus the lads do things easy, we play to our strengths. Benny does a few dribbles and that, but apart from that, everybody plays to their strengths. Nobody's as the hero and that, but we all do our bit. Yes, Cess? What do you think of that?
Yeah. I'm sure Cess does his bit as well.
I'm operating in
In actual fact, Cess has scored, which is a rarity for you, isn't it, Cess?
It is, but what a goal it was. So I'll just talk you through it. The ball came out wide, right? Controlled it. My first touch was brilliant and whacked it in. The goalkeeper never saw it.
He was blind, man. He was blind.
The thing is, I wish it was in the other net.
But the thing is,
to be in your own net, didn't it?
Well, I think the main thing is that everything's been shared out. I mean, if you look through the goal scoring list, you'll realise that everybody, not just the forwards, but everybody's been scoring. Defending, we play as a team like Liverpool play, a bit like Liverpool. We're playing the same colours as well. But what I'm saying is that we play as a unit, and not only on the field, but even in the dressing room, the lads are a team. there's no individuals, as Rico said before. It's a great atmosphere, and that's
I think Cecil and Benny will agree. Of all the clubs I've been at, particularly, this is the best atmosphere at a club that I've been at.
Well, it's just done so well. It's just absolutely
everybody
unbelievable.
Gets on so well. I just hope in the future it continues and we can do well in the 4th division. Yeah.
Well, for me personally, the whole season has been a highlight. We've taken each game as it's cropped up. The way we've been looked after this year is absolutely, the directors have looked after us, put us in good hotels and what have you. But I suppose you turn to your own personal goals. Scored the second game that I played for Scarborough. I managed to get a goal, which was great for my confidence, and
shocked everybody.
As I said, it's just been a great year. Everything's fallen into place.
That was at Runcorn when you won 2-0.
That's correct.
Says?
My goal. Well, I was talking.
no highlight. Unless that was a highlight.
Highlight's been today, really. The fact that we've won the league, and we went out and we showed all the people that have never seen Scarborough play before that we can play football.
Steve?
I think really this great run we've had away games, 13 away games, winning consecutive is in any standard of football. You talk about Liverpool's, but this is the greatest achievement, must be by any GM Vauxhall club. 13 consecutive wins, and the way we defended and we've won well, I think, and probably Sutton where we won 2-0, that just capped the season off for me. But as I say, this has just been one great season, and hopefully we can continue.
Scarborough manager Neil Warnock. Neil, would you regard this as the best moments of your playing and managerial career in football?
Yes, I think there's no comparison really with anything that I've done in my life of soccer. We've actually created history, which Scarborough Football Club will never forget this day. I think 100 and odd years old it is, and it's the greatest day in the club's history, which is very, very nice for me. Very special.
You had confidence, obviously, in the team, the players that you brought to the club before the season, and the players that you recruited during the season. When did you think you'd reached the point where you could say to your assistant Paul Evans, Paul, I think we can do it now, I think we can do it?
I think the end of February. We decided, the pair of us, that if we're not careful, we're going to win the league. And we knew then that we had something special. And we looked around the dressing room, and we decided to play it low key with other people shouting what they were going to do. And it worked right for us. We kept the pressure off the players. And from February onwards, we became a very good unit, very good side. And the dressing room was superb. And with the chairman, Terry Wood and Alf Arton, and the directors, were absolutely tremendous with the players. Took a lot of pressure off me and Paul, and we were able to get on with the playing side, because our players have been looked after like first division players the last few months, and I'm very grateful to them, but they've got the reward for it.
You say the team had something special. What do you call special?
Comradeship, commitment, never ever giving up, protecting the goal by putting the heads where people wouldn't, and by the other end by trying to get chances, goal scoring incidents, by going in where it hurts. We've been branded a defensive side, but really when we're on top we only play 3 at the back. So you look at your systems, and we've got a system that people criticise, but I said to people that criticise that it's usually the ones that we've beaten, and that it definitely works.
Can the club go further, Neil?
Yes, the club's facilities are on a par with the second division, and I think if they tread slowly and do the bits and bobs, put their own house in order, then I think they can go from strength to strength.
And Neil, it's been a long, arduous season, and October the 25th, would you believe, Scarborough were 10th in the league, 9 points behind Mates, and here you are, you end up winning it in a canter, really. Memorable moments from the season. The players have given me private, individual moments. Do you savour any moments, or is every game a moment?
No, I go back all the season, really. I remember the goal defeat, which really was very, very sickening for me. It was a big sickener for me, but I thought I did my job right after that, and we came back against Frickley, a local derby here, and performed very, very well. And then I look over the season, and it really comes to the away form. We went to Sutton and Kidderminster, and people expected us to get beat, and yet we came through, and we had a marvellous weekend at Welling and Dagenham, where we stayed away and got 6 points, and the comradeship that weekend was quite special. And you know, even at the end of the Sutton game, I was in tears at about 5 minutes to go, because it was so emotional to go down when everybody wanted us to get beat, the Southerners anyhow, and to come away with character and a good performance and a 2-0 victory. It was something very, very special. No, I think really as a manager, to win a league is the biggest thing you can do, and we've won the league, and I'm very, very proud that I said on the television that when I pop my clogs, I'll be remembered as the Scarborough manager that took him into the Football League, and that to me is very, very special. And obviously the direct Terry Wood been tremendous, and I'm very, very proud.
500 a week next week. That's all. That first professional. 500 a week. Come out. Some injections going on.
Remember, goalkeeper Kevin Blackwell was presented on the Saturday with the Evening News Supporter Player of the Year award, but the actual Scarborough Supporters Association Player of the Year, well, those awards are going to be held at the Lawton nightclub, and we thank Alf Arton and Malcolm Hitchman for staging those awards. And of course that ceremony will be hosted by the chairman of the Supporters Association, Steve Mennell.
So, ladies and gentlemen, here are sir.
First of all, I'd just like to thank everybody for supporting the Supporters Club throughout the season and for turning up here tonight, and to congratulate Neil Warnock, the directors and the team on the great achievement this season. I think they've done a fantastic job, and I think every supporter here who's travelled with us this year would agree we've seen some fantastic games away. Right, without further ado, we'll get on with the presentations for the Scarborough Supporters Woman of the Year, and I'd like to ask Mrs. Betty Adamson if she'll present the trophies for us. Right, we'll do them in reverse order, and third prize goes to Kevin Blackwell. Don't drop it, Kevin. Second place goes to Tommy Graham. And the first place, I think, goes to a man who really deserves it, and I think all the supporters who voted for him will agree. And the winner is Steve Richards.
Thanks very much, everybody. Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Peter Walker from Tetley has got something for one of the players.
This is the end of those sponsors, both our social clubs. Peter Walker, thank you very much. Is Seth about anywhere? Seth? Yes, right. Little token of appreciation from Joshua Tetley. I'm sorry it's not Tetley bitter, but I'm sure. Well, we all want it,
Get one of this, and that's from all the supporters to Steve up there.
Thanks to everybody anyway, and I hope everybody will continue supporting us at Scarborough Football Club in the 4th Division. Thanks a lot.
I'll do you great ice cream. That's fine.
Let's move on now to a bright and breezy Sunday morning at the Hotel St Nicholas on the cliff top at Scarborough.
Terry Wood, the Scarborough Football Club chairman. What a weekend it's been for everybody. Terry, how do you feel at this present moment?
Well, quite happy actually. I've been asked this question so many times.
What do you think the success has meant to the town?
Town may get round about £1 million worth of free advertising, and if the boarding houses and the hotels and the businesses in Scarborough benefit by the football club being successful, and then obviously all concerned with the football club are over the moon.
How difficult has it been for you as chairman, because you took over right at the beginning of January?
Well, it was a problem. Nobody liked what happened to Barry. Yeah, Barry needs credit. He brought Neil to the club. Barry backed Neil 100%. Unfortunately, Barry's death brought alterations slightly within the boardroom, but the directors and myself have backed Neil totally since Barry's death, and we've had a successful season.
You're a very proud man, obviously.
Oh, totally. To be, obviously, to be a chairman of a 4th Division or a Football League club, there's only 92 in the country, and at the present time I'm one of them. Yeah, I'm very, very proud, and bear in mind that myself and my wife came here when we were 20 years of age as a player. So what I've got to say is that I'm 25 years older now, and after playing and coming back as a director, I find myself as chairman with a super bunch of directors, and I'm only looking forward to success for Scarborough Football Club.
Jim Crawford, the Scarborough Football Club secretary. Jim, in your opinion, what does the success mean not only to the football club but the town and to yourself?
It means a tremendous amount to the town. It means a feeling of elation to myself, but it also means deep down a feeling of pride, a feeling that perhaps we're all doing something for Scarborough. never mind just for Scarborough Football Club, but for Scarborough as a town itself and for the people of Scarborough.
Director Tim Farrans.
As a relatively new director to the club, I can only say that from my point of view, it's the excitement of the potential for the future. Potential is limitless. We can go as far as we want to go, and from all the directors' point of view, it's a case of getting a firm foundation, and that is what we are bound to do and what we are going to be doing over the next few weeks. We've got a lot of hard work. Once this weekend finishes, which everybody is enjoying and will enjoy, once this weekend finishes, we get down to the real hard work of preparing for Football League future in Scarborough.
Director Walter Hunter.
But to me, it's been a fantastic season. We've done marvellous. It's been team effort right through, from the directors down to the ball boys. And it's been a successful team working together. And there's no limit as to where we can go from here.
Let's move across to director now, Tony Scott. Tony?
I have only been a director now for coming up shortly, I think, about a year. I think what a wonderful anniversary. I think it can do nothing but good for Scarborough football and Scarborough town as a whole.
And Vice Chairman John Fawcett.
I feel that we're going into the Football League not just for Scarborough Football Club, but we have a tremendous responsibility on our shoulders. We're going in for non-league football in general. If we were to make a mess of this and get relegated, heaven forbid, at the end of one season in the 4th Division, it could put back by many years the cause of non-league football. We're doing this, therefore, not just for this club, but for all the other clubs who are knocking on the door of the 4th Division. And we're very mindful of that responsibility on us as we take this tremendous step into the Football League.
Alf Arton, the newest director of Scarborough Football Club, you joined Scarborough halfway through the season. What do you think you've achieved in your short time here at the football club, Alf?
Making it more professional. I think we spend about £12,500 in hotels, but it's proved it. Now we've got in the position where we are now.
What attitude did you take with you to Scarborough Football Club? Because it's your first taste of professional football, isn't it?
Well, when you see the ground, the attitude has got to be 100% professional.
Has it been hard work?
Very hard. People don't realise. 7 days a week. 8 hours a day. But being lucky, having a nightclub, you can do it during the day and you're working at night.
What do you think you've learned from your experience with Scarborough Football Club?
Never take anything for granted.
You're a professional businessman. Is this the most exciting business venture you've been involved in?
Yes, for not getting paid for it.
Yeah, that's interesting actually. Does that upset you, or doesn't it? Don't you mind that?
No,
What satisfaction do you get out of it, Al?
Oh, when you see them lads, when you're away with them on a weekend and you go away from home, you have them in the best hotels, and they know they want to go out and do it for you. And they've proved the point. 15 away wins. We've never had a sad coach come out since I joined the board.
Some say you're being a breath of fresh air to Scarborough Football Club, so I think that breath of fresh air has worked wonders.
Well, I'm a very straightforward person, you know. What I say, I mean, and we just get on with it. It's no good messing about. The teams don't mess about. The board of directors haven't. Let's hope we can get it right for next year.
Well, the time is now approaching 11 a.m. on Sunday morning, and after a restful and peaceful night at the St Nicholas Hotel, the players and officials are ready for their champagne breakfast. Thanks really must go to General Manager Mike Sims and all the staff of the St Nicholas Hotel for providing such excellent accommodation and hospitality.
Taking this I don't know.
Once the breakfast is finished, the officials pose for photographs with the trophy before Jim Crawford and Neil Warnock read some of the many messages of congratulation received by the club.
Now, this is nice. Congratulations on your superb achievement. Love, Shirley, Betty and Val. Welcome to the league. Heartiest congratulations and best wishes, Ken Bates and all at Chelsea Football Club.
Many thanks, bro, for giving us a fantastic season, making 3 loyal fans very proud, wishing you all the very best. Congratulations, Paul, Val Muse and Mrs. Joyce Hodge. Finally, Mr. Warnock, it is so nice to see a gentleman like yourself. 2 minutes, I'll just read it again. Finally, Mr. Warnock, it is so nice to see a gentleman like yourself get such a richly and deserved award for your untiring devotion to the game. I remember watching you yourself play at Opal when I was in short trousers. Wait 2 minutes, where's Hammy? When you always thrill me with your ball skills.
A last chance to display ball skills on the snooker table as the crowd gathers outside the St Nicholas Hotel to welcome their conquering heroes at the start of the hour-long open-top bus ride through the streets of Scarborough. The first bus is for players and officials, the second for wives and girlfriends, and the third gives supporters a chance to join in the procession.
He's trying to drown it.
He hasn't got his big boots with him.
my God, it's a north, south, east, westerly.
What do you think of it?
Well, it's different, isn't it? I think it sums us up this year. We've been sort of sunshine and rain all season, haven't we? What do you think of the turnout? Not expecting anything like this. I'm looking forward to the town hall.
Want to get out the rain?
No, to see how many's there.
We're singing in the rain, just singing in the rain. Mitch, come on, floating the balloons. Mitch, you're in your hometown. Come on, comment. How do you think? This is great, man.
Playing more in worse weather than this, we're not. No, we'll get soaking wet and enjoy it.
Of course, there's more to come at the town hall with the Senate reception. You're enjoying every minute of it, aren't you?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm so proud for the boys and Neil. It's unbelievable day.
Hey, come on, Doc. Don't worry about me, Dad. I'm going to work for this in there.
Thousands, and there's probably going to be thousands to reception when we get to the hall. Excellent.
You know, the weather's spoiling it.
Jump up! Right, jump up! That's it! That's it, yeah! Terry, and again. What we do? Heads! It's gonna Here we go. Oh, darling! Where's the pension share? What's your pension share? Bloody is when you've been carrying it all this time, and all the lads have had a turn. I'm hoping we're carrying through more of these. Thank you.
Jubilant scenes in the streets of Scarborough, and the weather hasn't dampened any spirits as the team enter the town hall for their civic reception.
Thank you. And we do want to say many congratulations on the marvellous achievement in the winning of the GM Vauxhall Conference and promotion to Football League. And I am told that it is an historic occasion, as the Borough is the first team ever to be promoted into the 4th Division. So history has been made.
Mr. Mayor, Madam Mayoress, ladies and gentlemen, Neil Warnock and Paul Evans.
Smile when you say
I'm serious. Many thanks for your kind invitation to visit the town hall this afternoon on this historic occasion again. The football club truly appreciates the recognition that you have shown in us, and my last words would be this: arrange something for round about, thank you, arrange something for round about the same time next year.
Mr. Warnock, on behalf of the people of Whitby also, that is the pennant of Whitby with the 3 ammonites on, the 3 fossils, and it is from the town of Whitby to you, sir, for your border, and we're congratulating.
One more word before you all leave. I think the manager wants to have a word.
Well, yeah. Thank you very much. I'd just like to thank everybody on behalf of the players and Paul Evans and myself. I don't know why we're different, Paul, but anyhow, on behalf of Paul Evans and myself and everybody at the staff, we may come from all over the country to play for you, but I'm sure that we've brought the pride back into the town, and I hope that the town people like today have turned out in numbers and they're proud of us. And I would just further add that we've all got wives and girlfriends, and I hope that we don't forget these wives and girlfriends, and I think that if the town, they do get put on the one side and listen there, but I would like to thank them for being patient. I know my wife only sees me sort of one day every 4 or 5 weeks, but that's probably why we stayed married. And I know that we've all got a lot to put up with, but I do thank everybody concerned with Scarborough Football Club, and I know that in years to come we'll be very proud to have been part of this occasion. Thank you very much.
Ray McHale, the most experienced member of the Scarborough Football Club squad. Ray, first of all, when you joined Scarborough, you were looking for success, but did you think it would end up like this, winning the league and therefore promotion?
Well, I think, to be perfectly honest, when you've been in league football for 15 years, it frightens you a bit to go non-league because you feel that your career's coming to an end and all this, but I've been very impressed with the setup at Scarborough and the standard of non-league, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm hoping I can play in this setup, play for another couple of years. I might only play 20 or 30 games, but providing the legs just keep going and I can keep my mind thinking, then I think I'll be okay.
Do you think Scarborough can hold their own in the 4th Division? What's the difference in standard between the 2 leagues?
I think basically it's just sticking your chances away. As you go up through the divisions in the 4th Division, they'll just stick the chances away a bit better than probably the Vauxhall Conference. In the 3rd Division, percentage-wise, they stick them in a bit better and so on as you get up to the 1st Division. To be honest, this has been fantastic because with the lads only meeting once, twice a week, and after work and the journey and what we've done down south, 5-hour coach trips, I mean the spirit has been second to none, and we've had a great squad of players, 15 or 16 players, whoever's played, again the lot. I mean, I was lucky enough I got in the team because Neil Sellers had that bad car accident, and then he couldn't get back in, and then all of a sudden I hurt my ankle, he's back in, and he said to me the other week, he says he's never had people breathing down his neck, and he's been at Scarborough for 7 or 8 years. He's always been fixture, permanent player, but he knows at the moment everybody, you can't afford to be out of the team, and this is how it should be.
Well, that's it. It's all over. The memorable weekend celebrating Scarborough Football Club's promotion to the 4th Division. And now they can take a summer's rest in 1987, ready to prepare for the onslaught. We've tried to capture the sheer elation, excitement and thrills of the Saturday and Sunday, the build-up to the match against Weymouth, the game itself, the after-the-match interviews, and of course the open-top bus tour and the civic reception on the Sunday. Incidentally, centre-back Steve Richards was crowned Supporters Association Player of the Year, following in Kevin Blackwell's footsteps, who received a similar award on the Saturday. 4th Division football looms then, and the population of Scarborough certainly warms to that prospect. They've certainly got big hearts, and hopefully they will turn out in their thousands to support the borough. So there it is then, that's the weekend over, and let's look forward to perhaps this time next year when, who knows, we might be celebrating another promotion success.